Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the return of the Woke Wednesdays. And happy Beltane to everybody out there, too. Alright, let's see what we got lined up for us today. Right here?
Make sure you're at the top of your list.
That's it.
I hope that's this one. I hope it didn't.
It said 2 unavailable.
That's fine. That's not the problem. That's fine.
Okay, good?
Yep. Just to make sure that your volume is adequate. And adjust your bubble a little bit.
Hello everyone. Welcome to What Even Is This? Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Now let's laugh at some batshit crazy people together.
You didn't know that Kurt Cobain was probably trans. Here's why. First off, Kurt wore a lot of women's clothing. And when asked about this, they replied that they wore dresses all the time because they felt comfortable and free. Just look at Kurt in these pictures. They look so happy. And in an interview about their childhood, Kurt said that they mostly hung out around girls and that at one point they thought they might be gay. Many trans people who don't have the vocabulary yet to express their gender identity will describe what they're feeling as being gay. That's exactly what I did in middle school. Kurt is also quoted as saying that they identify more with the feminine than with the masculine. This is clear proof that Kurt did not identify with the gender they were assigned at birth. And the most convincing evidence that Kurt was trans was in an early version of Nirvana's All Apologies lyrics, where Kurt wrote, "Let me grow some." That is clear-cut gender dysphoria.
No,
and of course, Kurt will never be able to tell us themselves, but the evidence makes it pretty.
It could mean that.
Wow. This is just like a slap in the face to Kurt Cobain.
I know, it's like the 90s were weird. That guy was on heroin.
Yeah.
And he was really like troubled. I think that he was in fact a feminist, but it's like a lot of people wore dresses back then, you know?
Yeah.
It was the 90s, you know?
Yeah, it was, no.
And it's like, how dare he, like, presume somebody's pronouns, calling them they, them, and stuff. How did they presume that when the dude's, like, long since gone and can't be...
And can't say what he is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Obvious they were trans. That might be why Kurt's no longer with us. Maybe Kurt knew that we weren't ready. I bet you didn't know.
I wear a mask because 15% of trans people have long corona. This includes many of my friends. And other friends are high risk because of their disabilities. Technically, nearly everyone in my social circle is high risk for long corona because trans people are considered higher risk for it. I wear a mask to protect them and myself. Wearing a well-fitted respirator reduces your chances of catching the virus and can lower the viral load you are exposed to. My dad has had heart attacks. My grandfather passed away from one. I never met him. The crown virus increases your risk for heart attacks. I've caught it twice.
Yes.
When women have heart attacks, doctors are more likely to dismiss their symptoms as anxiety. This is especially true for trans women. Heart attack symptoms present differently in both cis and trans women than they do in men. Doctors don't always know that. Even if they do, they often think trans women are men. This medical transphobia has ended lives. Every day, I think of the odds that it will end mine.
Yes, okay, they talk about that, but yet a lot of the trans people, even becoming what they want to become, has not solved any issues.
Yeah, they still have mental issues and stuff, right?
Yes.
Wait, was she talking? Wait, hold on. They were talking about the virus, though, weren't they?
Yeah, after that, they just started talking about, they said that a lot of people have ended their lives due to this,
Well, yeah.
the transition.
A lot of them still do.
Yeah.
And they keep calling it a genocide of trans people out there, too. Not just, like, the self-harm that they're talking about, but, like, they're talking about genocide. And so I don't think they understand what that word means.
No.
Because that means, like, the death of, like, whole generations.
Exactly.
Of people. So, like, a few people being killed here and there just because that's just hate crimes. That's just discrimination in general,
It is.
That's not genocide.
No, it's not.
And the suicide, you're right, the problems are still there afterwards.
You're non-binary and you know it, clap your hands.
God.
If you're non-binary but you're actually gender fluid, but you don't want to explain to people that your pronouns change regularly because your gender is that freaking fluid, and you don't really care either way what pronouns people use, except for certain days where you feel super masc or super femme or super androgynous. But you also don't want to bother people with having them try to remember what pronouns you are for certain days, and even you don't really know most of the days, so you just sit there like, sure, whatever you want to reference me as. Clap your hands.
These people
Yeah.
are effed.
I love having DID because I'm like, I never know what I look like. And then I look in a mirror or my phone screen and I'm like, what the fuck? You're emo. How did these shelves get here? Who put up the FNAF banner? Hatsune Miku? I don't know if I've done my homework or not. I have this whole desk set up to play The Sims, and I haven't had somebody who wants to play a foot Snorlax plushie. And now he's just here. Am I a woman? Probably. Why is half of my recently played on Spotify Taylor Swift's discography in order? Who's gonna be the one to fill up this gigantic water bottle, and who is the one who drank it all? Am I a man? Sure. Who thought it was a good idea to, with our library card, for the first time check out JoJo's Part 1? I can't watch Bluey without feeling like I'm 5 years old. Am I non-binary? Yeah, definitely. I get. No. Yes? Whatever happened to my last therapy appointment is none of my business, because I don't remember. I have blue hair and pronouns.
And that explains everything right there.
Hey again. This is a good question. I like this question. Thank you for asking. Why do I need the surgery if I'm already a woman? Well, that's because I was born with a condition that caused me to develop male sex characteristics. And I want to correct as much of that as possible. However...
Yeah, as Dr. Vaughton was just saying, it's like, yeah, you were born with your whole body being male. It's not a condition.
Look at the collarbones.
Yeah.
And the shoulder span. And the freaking head size.
That's not a condition anymore. That's flat out... You are that.
Yeah. I mean, there are situations, obviously, like with our cat, where they're born with, it looks like one set of genitalia, and then they morph into having other, genitalia, or just kind of like, forms that way. But that is very much a dude. It's like the cat still has both kinds of features. It still has, like, overdeveloped muscles.
Yes.
But it has now started to get that thinner face and stuff. So it's like, but that is a dude.
Yeah, that is flat out a dude.
I need to add a great big caveat to this. Genitalia does not define gender. I am a woman because I say that I am a woman. What is or is not between my legs is absolutely irrelevant.
Yeah.
Also, I need to state that
Pause.
Choosing to get the surgery.
Okay. Yeah, now this is what gets me, is these people are just trying to say, it's the whole, Matt Walsh discussion of what is a woman. And they're trying to say that them thinking that they're a woman makes them a woman.
Yeah, it's like whatever a woman is, whatever it identifies as, it's like, I can't remember what the little thing is that they have on there, but it's like this whole round and round thing. No. Biology, anatomy.
Yeah, exactly.
All of those things determine that.
Yes, and I mean, you're born with a certain, I guess they call it gender, which is what you're supposed to be. That is what you were created as.
Yeah, they call it sexing. You would sex a thing until like the 60s or 70s or something like that. Then gender came along.
Yeah.
But I mean, if gender, I don't know, because there are words for gender in other ancient cultures, and it still pretty much comes down to male and female. Even when they talk about gender in a spiritual format, there's still yin and yang as male and female.
Yeah.
There's not really a whole lot of fluidity in between. It's like you can have a little drop of this here and a little drop of that there, But there's not like a whole bunch. Otherwise, the yin and yang symbol would just be a blob.
Exactly.
You know,
You have to have the masculine, you have to have the feminine.
Yeah, those
together.
are the total polar opposites.
Yes.
But they've like mashed it all up so that there's like 96 different genders or something in between.
Yeah, I mean those flags that we went over that one day. Yeah.
Or not get the surgery is an intensely personal decision. And not all women want to get the surgery. And that is completely and utterly valid. So again, thanks for asking. Love you.
Hello everyone, I'm Mix Berry and I'll be your substitute teacher.
Your name is Mix.
Actually, Mix is a gender neutral title, an alternative to Miss or Mister. I identify as non-binary, so if this was cis female and this male, I'd be here.
But aren't you born boy or girl?
Well, biological birth sex and gender are different. Gender isn't your anatomy, but how you internally feel. It can exist on a spectrum.
Ash is gender fluid. What's fluid?
Something that isn't fixed, but can change and flow.
My gender identity changes by the day or week or even hour.
Do you want to point to where on this spectrum you feel?
Yeah.
Sometimes here, sometimes here, sometimes here. That is perfectly valid. Everyone is unique and different.
Thanks, Mix Berry.
This is what they're teaching kids.
That's the ultimate cringe face right there.
Yeah. It's a guru, ladies and gentlemen.
I'll have to give up.
But yes, no. This is what they're teaching kids.
Yeah, and she's like going through like a how-to of basically how to teach the kids in the classroom about that and encourage them to also identify as something they're freaking.
Well, I mean, they've got books in there teaching how to do other things.
And they have even like with the younger kids, they have books that is like, oh, my shadow is purple or whatever. It's like it's not pink and it's not blue, and then it's like by the end of it, nobody has a pink or a blue one. It's just all different colors and all this nonsense. And that's like for like 6-year-olds.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think they have black shadows either. Yeah, I'm just a bleak person, okay?
I can feel it coming on.
I should dissociate no one in the body.
What? Spirits.
Yeah.
Guess the player.
These people are mental.
Yeah, they are. That's what it comes down to. Quiet.
Yeah, that's why you should pay attention. It's usually words.
LGBTQ gender identity terms that you might not have heard of before, but I will explain to you. Part 2, today's edition, Demi Boy. Now, if you've seen the last post that was Demi Girl, then you should be able to understand this a little better. So if you haven't seen that, go check that out, because it's basically the same thing, but it's just the other way around. According to wikia.org, a Demi Boy is a identity describing someone who partially but not wholly identifies as a man or a boy, regardless of their assigned gender at birth. Oh, and that's disappeared. They may or may not identify as another gender in addition to feeling partially boy or a man. If you want to read the next bit, pause it now or move out the way and read it. I hope that explains. So all in all, a demi-boy is a person who feels partially attached to the male gender, but not wholly enough to identify as a man or a male. And they could also be, for example, kind of in the middle between a boy and non-binary. They kind of feel like partially a boy, but partially not. But they could also identify with another gender. I hope this explains it. Have a lovely day.
Adding to this video every time we switch today.
For freaking culture that throws around the word energy a lot, they sure as shit don't know what that means. Because they think that whole thing their identity. Like, I would say that, like, some people have more, like, feminine qualities being male, and they just, like, channel that sort of, like, artistic things. learn to work with those, but they're still male.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like, now it's like if you feel that way, then it's like, oh, well, that's a feminine quality, so I'm gonna, like, be both.
I know.
It's like, wait, so yeah, they use the word energy all the time, but they do not understand it.
They take the yin and yang to a whole nother...
Yeah, so they've mashed it all to...
Yeah. And it's like that last one that was quiet was another one of those switching on, like, associative personality disorder things.
Oh, God. I have dissociation. Like, if I get into a situation I don't want to be, I'll just, like, zone out, you know, it's like, and that's like a kind of a personality disorder, I suppose, but I just think of it as a survival reflex.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they think that they have all these disorders and stuff, I don't know.
And they play it up, too. Yeah, you can tell. You can just look at them and know what you know.
Twitching and ticking, and they have Tourette's and stuff, and I think...
You should be struck with Tourette's.
Currently blurry and very overstimulated. Leslie here. Time to load up the furnace. King here. It's looking like today is going to be just as badly switchy as yesterday, and I'm not looking forward to that, but it is what it is. Blurry, but like in a silly, goofy way. It's Tal. We took a nap. I'm so sleepy still, but that is okay. Blurry again and very overstimulated.
Okay, now that's called different emotions.
Right.
And they're trying to associate that with a different name.
Oh my gosh.
Now it's all about I took a nap until I'm groggy. And
yeah, that's normal.
yeah, that is. I mean, it happens.
I'm not in your bubble, am I?
I don't think so. I'll see you.
Hi, I'm Bunny.
Hey, I'm Z. What's up?
Hi, I'm Oliver.
Hey everybody, I'm Ben. Hey, I'm Elegant. Wow! Sorry. Hello there, I am Malachi. What's up?
Hi,
I guess,
I'm
yeah.
Echo. Hi, my name is AJ.
Hey everyone, I know I look like shit, but it's red. Hi. Hey everybody, my name's Sayori. Yo, I'm Beatrix. What's up? Hello everyone, my name is Ophelia.
Yeah.
Please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
What the hell is even that?
These days, social media is overrun with folks recording themselves being fools for attention, whether it's crying over gendered bathrooms or other woke microaggressions. It's the new trend that we all have to get used to.
You are so predictable.
And today we'll look at a few examples of this, starting with one particularly upset non-binary woman who recounts her experience at a bar. As always, stick around to the end for the recap, this week's woke news, and much, much more.
I really don't know what to do, but there was a really bad experience. Basically, I was just getting a drink at the bar, and they called both Azul and I ladies. After they were done drinking the drink, I went up, and I was like, some people don't refer to themselves as ladies, but it's okay that you didn't know. And in a gay bar, so we should be safe. Too bad turned it around. They got so mad at me, and they took the drink away from my wife and I. He hit the bar, because he was like, "Are you serious? You're doing the same thing to me. How?" And then they kicked us out.
Now, it's hard to remember when exactly it became a trend to film yourself crying on video, but nothing those folks at the gay bar did should warrant this much uncontrollable sobbing. And I'd be willing to bet this story either never happened or is at the very least being grossly exaggerated.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, our next individual's much more concerned with the progressiveness of his office environment. Take a watch. Now imagine receiving a congratulatory email at work that recognises your achievements, and your first thought is to film and upload a video of yourself being upset at being misgendered. It's no wonder none of these folks ever look happy. But embarrassing as that video might be, our next 2 clips will genuinely make you concerned for these individuals' well-being.
That's a really good question, but it's a bit of a secret, so just come in close. You wish you had the balls.
Hi. Thank you so much for your question. I make that face because I'm being 100% honest, truthful, and I'm also being activated in my morphogenetic chakras, which are conical rather than cyclical, unlike your power chakras, which are your first 3 chakras, or first 4 chakras actually. I'm being activated by the Ascended Masters. And also my Kundalini is cycling up and wrapping around. It's a snake that wraps around all your chakras. So that's why my face does that. I don't have Tourette's.
No.
I don't have a twitch. I'm just very, very devout and spiritual and divine. There's nothing wrong with having Tourette's. There's nothing wrong with having a twitch.
Okay, so that's it. You're crazy.
Now, if you're like me, only 10% of that nonsense made any sense. So if anyone wants to help clarify what a morphogenetic chakra is in the comments, I'd be all ears. And more importantly, I'd like to know what people made of the first clip, because I honestly can't imagine how anyone could guess what a man in crop tops sporting a moustache would want to be identified as. But sticking on the subject of identifying as other genders, let's take a quick breather from all these exhausting clips and listen to comedian Ryan Long joke about the perks of being a female-identifying soldier.
Dudes that have been changed into chicks are crushing it right now. Male Spanish soldiers are self-identifying as women to get better army digs. Army Corporal Roberto, who registered as a female in the past 12 months, reportedly he gets a better salary now. He has nicer accommodations. And then also, he was told that his pension's gone up because women get more to compensate for inequality. Also gets a 15% more annual salary for being a mother. You know what the best part is? Because out of respect for, he said he didn't want to be in the female houses and showering with them and stuff. So they just gave him his own house. The Corporal's been allowed to maintain his beard because facial hair is permitted for women, whereas guys have to shave their beard.
Facial hair is permitted for
There's
women.
nothing in the code of conduct about women having facial hair.
This is just a smart guy. It's a smart lady, sorry.
And whether you find this hilarious or deeply upsetting, the simple fact is that people will always exploit a system that's designed to be exploited. And when you literally incentivize people by pushing diversity and inclusion at all costs, you can expect a lot more of this. But back to the topic at hand, we've looked at a number of folks recording themselves being rambling fools. Here's one who's doing it purely in the name of attention seeking.
I'm like new on my gender panic journey. I know that I want to like present more masculine. The way you portray yourself on TikTok with other clients made me feel very safe and seen. And I was like, that's why I want to cut my hair because I'm really nervous. I've never had short hair. I was like afraid, I think, to let it go, but it's become like unbearable. I don't mind if it's like tighter on the sides or the back, but I like long on top so I can do something with it. I just don't want to look like coconut head.
Not gonna look like coconut.
That's my
faces round. We'll just do layers everywhere. The layers will be a bit shorter on the sides, just a bit more angular.
Cool.
Balance out the shape of your face with the shape of the haircut.
Awesome.
What pronouns do you use?
I'm using they, them.
Is that new?
It is.
Yeah, cool. I take it you don't get your haircut very often.
I don't. I hate it. The ladies were just like, why do you want to cut your hair? It looks great. We're going to keep it long. Do you have a boyfriend? That's why.
Shut up. I think it's guy. Yeah.
Oh, so this was all about you.
Now, I don't know about you, but Gender Panic Journey just screams attention seeker to me. And I can only assume it'll end in about a year's time once this trend moves on. But for our last and final clip, we have a much more sincere self-recording to end the day. This one's brought to you by a trans woman who outlines the struggles of reversing gender transformation surgery as a young girl.
So I got out of my haircut because my hair was driving me nuts. And I shaved it because I'm tired of watching my hair thin out, and it's less distressing if I shave it. So when I talk about being too far gone, I don't really know what else to call it. This is what I mean. This is how deep my voice is. It's gotten deeper over time, and it's settled. This is what I mean by hair loss. It just keeps getting worse. It keeps thinning. It keeps receding backwards. And I'm not exactly sure that's coming back.
Now, I, for one, actually feel sympathy for her, because we've all been teenagers at one point and weren't too sure of who we are. But I just hope it wasn't her parents who influenced or even pressured into going through surgery. At the end of the day, it's hard to escape the woke indoctrination and keep your mind happy and content if you're exposed to the wrong ideologies. And on that note, a recent study from the Scandinavian Journal of Psychology actually discovered that woke attitudes in people were linked with higher instances of anxiety, depression, and an overall lack of happiness.
Oh no. Exactly.
The study initially took a sample of 851 participants, consisting of mainly university students and staff from the Finnish University of Turku, as well as members of the general public. And the goal was to survey public perception towards woke values in society. They presented these following statements to assess the political and social attitudes of the participants on a graded scale, including statements like, university reading lists should require fewer white or European authors. However, the most intriguing aspect of the study was its unintended exploration of the relationship between critical social justice and mental well-being.
Okay, pause it for a
The study
second.
actually found that a higher...
That list that popped up.
Yeah.
It says, if white people have, on average, a higher level of income than black people, it is because of racism. University reading lists should include fewer white or European authors. Microaggressions should be challenged often and actively. So if you just say something like, you people, or something like that, they want you to be corrected.
That will not stand, man.
Trans women who compete with women's sports are not helping women's rights. Reverse scored. Because that thing was quoted. Wait, women are not helping women's rights. Well, that's true. We don't need to talk more about the color of people's skin. A white person cannot understand how a black person feels equally well. Black person, I don't know, it's not written really well. A member of a privileged group can adopt features or cultural elements of less privileged group. Okay, I don't know.
No.
That's university crap.
Yeah.
Agreement with critical social justice attitudes saw a significantly higher correlation with self-reports of anxiety or depression. In particular, they found that subjects were 3 times more likely to be self-diagnosed as anxious or depressed if they found at least 4 of the 7 statements true. We saw today a number of sad, discontent, or outright mentally unstable folks posting their experiences on social media for clicks. That includes being upset at being accidentally misgendered at work, crying over their non-binary experiences outside, or just having an identity crisis and being outright deluded. The most telling thing is that the average video from these folks is typically criticizing the system or attacking others for not agreeing with them. And without being an expert in psychology, I can't imagine that type of victim mindset is at all healthy in the long run. But let me know what you guys think. What do you think of this trend that we're seeing on social media? As always, thanks for supporting this channel, and I'll see you all next week.
Second one.
What the hell is even that?
Today we're looking at how the English language is changing. For starters, you've got new pronouns popping up every day, and all of a sudden people can't seem to define what a woman is anymore.
Alright, just to catch on that for a second. Pronouns. There's certain ones that are fine to be called. But then when you start getting these lists in there, no thank you. I will not hear or say 20,000 pronouns trying to know what somebody is.
Especially when you get these ones they're talking about being gender fluid and their pronouns change like hourly.
Yeah, no.
No, dude. And it's
No.
like, if that's the case, then it, they, them is like the only acceptable one that's like, credited by the English language. But Zer,
Zion.
Oh my god, there's some, I think there's some in here as funny as heck. Because remember, like, Tristan and I were making fun of, like when he was like single-minded because of his fever.
Yeah.
And said you're like basically an amoeba. So he's sort of saying, you know, my
amoeba self.
My amoeba self. You know, there's stuff that's like actually out there like that now.
That is ridiculous.
Like pixel self. Like they identify. I mean, what?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Ender self.
Ender self. That's it. Yes. Minecraft.
So Minecraft.
Yeah.
Void self.
Void self. Yes.
More, as our first clip of the day will show.
Ah, boy, here we go.
But first, thank you all for supporting this channel. Feel free to like, share, or comment, even if you disagree with my takes. And as always, stick around to the end for the full recap, today's woke news, and much, much more.
What would be your definition of the word woman?
That is a difficult question. I think it depends on one's own perspective. I think it has to do with...
What is a woman is not at all difficult. It's not complicated. It doesn't depend on how the person feels. A biological woman, has female parts.
And more often than not can reproduce.
Yeah, can reproduce in most cases. Because that's one that they try to use.
Yeah, I mean, and it's like, well, that person still has the same amount of bones that a woman does, and that person has the same bone shape that a woman does, and, you know, that's like, you know, it's in the bones. How in anthropology did you find out, like, a 3,000-year-old mummy if that was a guy or a girl?
Exactly.
You know, not always did they have tombs, and not always were those tombs accurate. You had the desert mummies.
The robbers that came in and moved things.
And then the poor people that just didn't really mark their graves. They just dug like simple desert holes.
Exactly.
And had a really basic mummification thing. Well, you know, 3,000, 4,000, 6,000 years later, you find out because of the freaking bone.
Yep. And it's like, you're not a woman just because you think in your mind that you are a woman. That is a mental disorder.
And it should be tested. I mean, I feel that sometimes there might be people that have souls that are stuck in the wrong body. But it's like, then have a test or something.
Exactly.
You know? And it's like, I don't know, and the thing about when they say, oh, you're so brave, and it takes courage, that just like, you guys have a totally different definition for this.
Yeah.
Same thing with violence. It's like, you say, oh, you come at me with violence, it's like, you have no freaking idea what violence is.
Nope, they don't.
You're about to.
Yeah, they will.
And, you know, gender norms.
What is a woman?
I feel like every person has their own definition to that.
What would your definition be?
I mean, if you identify as a woman, then you're a woman.
No!
Just imagine someone answering the question, what is a car?
No!
Jesus, that's the circular thing, you know. If you identify as a woman, then you're a woman, and it goes around and around and around, and it's like, no.
That's not it at all. Let's call it what it is. That's bullshit.
It's in the bones.
It's in the bones. It's within the DNA alone.
The chromosomes, yeah.
The chromosome, yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can tell a lot, and they've done it for years, generations. They've been able to tell a male and female apart.
And all of a sudden they're jumping all over doctors because they're like, well, some doctor came in and assigned you that gender, and it's like, oh, shit. Again, 3,000, 6,000 years, Sumerian tablets, Egyptian writing, it all talked about, you know, midwives announcing the birth of a baby. I mean, exactly. It was like they hold it up, they look at it, they say, oh, this is a boy or girl. It's nothing new.
No, it's not.
But they're acting like it's like now it's like this new thing that this doctor comes and just assigns you a gender. Oy.
Saying something that identifies as a car. These students really should have saved their college tuition.
What is a woman?
A lady that... Someone that does not have a certain private part.
Okay, also, you'll notice that a lot of these people are college students. This is what our colleges are now forcing on people, making them think a certain way, so they go out in the world and cause problems.
And they're utterly confused. It's like,
yes.
Well, it's, you know.
Well, they might know truly what a woman is, but it's like they can't say it because then they would be, what is it, transphobic?
Yeah, and I mean, I kind of get it, because like in the colleges, it's like people are getting really, really vicious about that stuff. It's like somebody slipped up in a classroom and said something that was considered to be mildly transphobic, and that freaking classroom like rioted and yelled at this
Yeah.
person and like chased him out of the freaking school or chased him into the bathroom or something. And it's like,
They need the beating sticks back.
yeah, they do. And the big hoses.
These people that think that they're fucking, pardon my language, these people that think that they're stuff,
Yeah.
they need to be taken back.
I mean, it's like they just like the mob mentality
Yeah.
is there, and you see it on the campuses right now with the whole. I'm not gonna say it, but the whole.
The rallies.
Yeah.
Just leave it at that.
I'm not gonna use the words.
No, but the rallies, and it's utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, they're having riots now,
Utterly
and now
ridiculous.
absolutely. But yeah, I mean now it started off peaceful.
Yeah.
And now they're becoming aggressive. There was like 300 people injured or something.
See, that's ridiculous.
But they have LAPD involved now. And they were all swatted up, and you know, the cops get all jacked up out of their mind too, so people get hurt.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, and I don't blame them. I mean, it's a scary situation.
Well, yeah, and especially with the way that these people are, these cops don't know what they're gonna do. They really don't. I mean, these people are unstable, unhinged, will do anything just to show off.
Yeah, it's just they want to see how much pain supposedly they're putting people through, so they're gonna light the world on fire. It's this they're doing it in Paris.
Yeah.
Again, still, and I don't even know what that's about. Do you?
No, I don't. I haven't really seen.
It's like I just know that it's something to do with the Olympics.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll look it up real quick.
Yeah.
Check your chat.
Go back to this and then.
Yes. I don't know.
It's not that difficult.
And there you have it. Half these folks are just trying their best to stay politically correct, and the other half generally change the definition of the word woman in their mind to basically mean nothing at all. Likewise, this next woman refuses to use the word mothers because it might not be inclusive enough.
Michael, do you know what the leading cause of death for pregnant people is?
Pregnant people? Mothers?
If you'd like to call them mothers, not all of them are mothers.
What are they if they're not mothers?
They're pregnant people.
What people other than mothers are pregnant?
It's interesting because you come into this conversation, trying to hold this moral superiority. But when I use inclusive language, which it only takes a couple extra syllables to use inclusive language,
To include
and it
who?
seems to include people who don't identify as women but can become pregnant.
Let me know what you...
My exact words to them are, no, I'm not playing into your delusions.
I know. Just no. I'm
Yeah.
not, I mean, it's like I'm not gonna do that. I have a certain way of doing things. I've been doing it for.
Yes, Phil.
It did like thousands of freaking years. I'm not changing it.
Yeah.
It's like I have compassion and empathy for individuals, not groups of people. It's like I'm not gonna like rally for all freaking trans people because I don't know them. It's like they, as a whole, they seem to be like a bunch of freaking jerks.
I know. They do.
And the true trans is like a thing of the past.
Yeah.
So it's like, as an individual, it's like, yeah, I will show you respect and I will show you compassion and I will do what I can to help you out, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not gonna
Exactly. I'm not playing in your freaking delusions.
Yeah, no delusions. It's like, that was like taught in medical, like even with people with Alzheimer's and stuff.
Yeah, you
to a
don't.
certain degree. It's like, unless it just just totally rile them up.
Yeah, unless they're going to die from it. Like,
Yeah.
it's just going to blow their mind.
Or really hurt people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like you don't play in delusion.
You don't.
guys think in the comments. Would you personally use the term pregnant people as an alternative to mothers?
You're telling me that in order to be a moral person, I need to accept the idea that a man can really become a woman. That's a prerequisite of my being a moral person.
I mean, yes.
I would like to identify, I do identify actually, as the correct person on this issue. And I would just ask that you accept my identity.
That's not your identity.
That is my identity. I promise you that's my identity. I promise you that.
To me, this is clear proof that inclusive language has gotten way out of control, and it's only going to get worse from here on out, because I guarantee that in a few years' time, we'll be debating whether the term pregnant people is inclusive enough for people who don't identify as humans. And sticking on the subject of words being changed over time to be more accommodative, this next lady explains why she is against the word pedophile.
Folks, my name is Miranda. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm a licensed professional counselor and sex therapist in Erie, Pennsylvania. And today I want to talk about minor attracted persons. And I want to talk about minor attracted persons because they are probably the most vilified population of folks in our culture. And most folks are making incorrect assumptions about them without actually knowing much about them. You may have noticed that I'm using the term minor attracted persons, sometimes abbreviated to MAPS, instead of the more commonly used term pedophile. And I'm doing this because the term pedophile has moved from being a diagnostic label to being a judgmental, hurtful insult that we hurl at people in order to harm them or slander them.
Officer, right there.
Now, the craziest thing to me is that she's a licensed therapist, which means people with trust issues trying to seek out therapy might actually wind up in her mentally unstable hands. And it's even crazier that so many people like this therapist don't seem to care about protecting children as much as the adults.
Yeah, I said the biggest issue that he has with this is that she's actually a licensed
I know, I heard that
therapist.
too. I know, a sex therapist.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
people that are trying to seek
validation,
correction, and everything else are actually going to go to her for advice.
Right, and she's probably going to point them in the direction of doing things safe, like using a doll instead. And, you know, it's okay if you look at pictures and stuff, as long as you don't act on it. You know, and it's like, but you definitely have to release that tension, and that's just not freaking true.
No.
Is it one thing leads to another? And it's just, it goes back to the last thing that we said. It's like, I won't call them a minor attractive person. I'm going to call them what they are.
Yeah, pedophile.
You know.
Pedo.
And it's like, they just need to be kind of comfortable with that. They need to accept that if they are in fact that. Yeah. If they're a minor attractive person that doesn't plan on acting on it and stuff and they're struggling with it, then they just have to kind of get comfortable with the fact that, yes, I am a pedophile, and let it ick under their skin and shame them a little bit.
Yeah,
because it might change the way they think about stuff.
Yes.
You know, but the shame and the discomfort has been taken out of everything.
It has. And, you know, people can't be a little uncomfortable, because being uncomfortable would be, you know, I mean, in generations before, being uncomfortable is what motivated people to do better.
Absolutely.
We are taking that out of everything now.
Yeah, the kids that are struggling with gender dysphoria or whatever, or not, you know, they're not given that chance to overcome it, come through it, and find out for themselves who they really are. And then their entire identity is wrapped up in that for the rest of their life, what somebody else chose for them. Exactly. And it's like, it's just weak. They're just turning out weak people.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's like that you saw it with the people up the road, you know. It's like I made her the slightest bit uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. And that ended a whole friendship. You know, it was just like...
And it's always that same shit, too. It's like, shut down.
Oh, she did the same thing. She shut down. She went, oh, okay. And then she went to the kitchen immediately.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to eat my food. Because it's probably the last time we're going to be here. You know, but it was like... And what I was telling her was for the sake of her daughter.
Yeah, but they won't hear it.
I'm like, don't do this. I'm like, don't make this day about you. That's like all I said. I'm like, like you've been like weird and mopey for like 3 weeks. I'm like, I am sick of it. Everybody else is sick of it. I mean, Rick sat there and listened and he didn't say anything.
I know.
You know, so it's like...
So he had to be sick of it too.
Oh, it was like one day. And it's like, well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You know, it's like deep in my heart, it's like I do all these things for her and it's like she's not going to remember. She's not going to care. She doesn't care about me. You know, it's like...
Well, she's got bigger issues than that though.
Yeah. And she don't know that because it's like, I remember the stuff that my mother did do for me at the age of like 12 and 13. Yes. And, you know, like the concerts I went to and the parties that she did try to throw for me and the work that she did trying to get kids to come to my parties. And it did make a freaking difference. And I do remember that
it does.
fondly. And she's just sitting there saying, well, you know, it's like, compared to other big life events, this is just like, you know, nothing. I'm like, it's her last childhood birthday.
Yeah.
You know, almost like she's not really going to feel like having other birthdays after this, you know?
Well, yeah, but Jenna has to make it all about herself.
Yeah.
And, you know, they've got bigger issues anyway.
Yeah, well, you know, I mean, that all came to light later, but it's just like, but I mean, like, I didn't even know what woke was.
I know, and
then
she was it.
She was it. I mean, down to the hairstyle. Remember I was coloring her hair for all these different hair colors and everything, and I didn't think anything of it, you know, but, you know, as soon as she cut her hair and got all those extra piercings in her ear and started dyeing it, I mean, she instantly turned into that.
Yeah.
She's not the same person that I saw down at the end of the road, you know, trying to talk to me over the fence with the typical mom haircut, you know, the little hair pulled back, you know, it's like, she's not the same person. It just, like, completely overtook them. And being happy about, like, Trump, I guess you can say Trump, getting, you know.
Yeah, I know.
And being happy about it. And then instantly,
within the same minute becoming mopey is like, oh, he'll probably recover and be seen as some sort of like superhero, and then be sad about that.
I know.
Dude, it doesn't affect you, you know. But
it does to them though, because
it's all that. It's like they watched, like, you know, all of the woke YouTube. They watched all of the woke channels.
Yes.
All of the woke news stations.
Yep, they did.
It blows my mind that they even survive up here.
Yeah, I don't know how. I mean, that's...
Well, nobody likes them.
Yeah. Did you find out what you were looking for, too?
Yeah, it's farmers. Farmers are writing, and apparently they've actually been writing since October of last year. It's just, like, stepped up a thing. And they're pissed off because France is, like, hosting some part of the Olympics or something. The Olympics are going to be...
Because that's what it said.
Okay, and so they're pissed off at that. They're like, okay, so you can spend money retrofitting your freaking city to host the Olympics, but they want to, like... bump up their retirement to like 64 and crush some kind of farmers union or something.
Wow.
And I'm sorry, but here in America, our retirement age is already at 65, isn't it?
Yeah.
Minimum?
It is.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is there, but they're pissed off about being pushed up to 64. Yeah, figures. But yeah, I mean...
Well, yeah, but this is America!
America. But yeah, that's what they're pissed off about, and that's, like, nothing new. As a matter of fact, anytime the Olympics go someplace, they leave a freaking mess behind.
Oh, they do.
It's like they'll leave the buildings, they'll leave everything, and it's like you can't even do anything with it. And so I get it, but they're always writing. They're always having a problem with the government.
Yeah.
Vive la France! Give me liberty or give me death.
That are inflicting harm on them. But moving right along, these next two clips reminds us that the English language isn't just seeing a cancellation of certain words, it's also promoting a new set of inclusive terms, especially when it comes to pronouns.
My pronouns. So of course we have he, him, his, himself, and they, them, theirs, themselves. And then we also have void, void self, end, ender, enders, and ender self. Death, self. Pix, pixel, pickles, Pix, pixel, pixels, pixel self. Vial, vials, vial self.
My name is Diddy.
P. Diddy.
And I'm non-binary. My pronouns are she, they. And I'm queer. And this is me officially coming out.
You don't look, I mean, she's looking whole plastic.
Oh my god!
Oh, do you know something?
Now, for someone who seems so enlightened about her own identity, this woman does not seem like a mentally stable individual. My first instinct was that all this crying and hysteric laughing was just an attempt from her to get people talking about how brave she is. But nothing beats the stupidity of the first girl, who will hopefully realize someday just how stupid she sounds. But what can you expect in a world that caters its language to a vocal minority? That brings us to our penultimate clip. Cis people should relate to her material instead of the other way round.
I'm a trans comedian, and people always tell me, you just gotta find a way to relate to cis audiences. Okay, but what if I'm like a lot cooler than them?
Yeah.
I'm in an 8-person all-trans polycule in Los Angeles. I write for TV, and America thinks I'm the devil. I'm not.
Not everybody, like, not every comedian or writer appeals to, like, everybody.
No,
you know,
they
it's
don't.
like usually they have a certain, like, niche, and so it's like if you're a trans comedian, why don't you just, like, focus on trans and lesbian
Yes,
audience,
precisely.
you know? And it's like, but see, they want to infiltrate everything.
Everything, they do.
And it's like, I mean, like, Seth MacFarlane is not everybody's cup of tea, but he does just fine.
Yeah, he does
you
very
know?
well.
It's like, you know, Ricky Gervais. You know, I mean,
another great comedian.
Yeah, they're you know, there's like sometimes he's like a little bit too abrasive for people, and it's
Yeah.
like that's okay because he's got enough people to talk to, you know. But it's like they want everything. They
Yeah,
want
they
to take
do.
over the whole world.
They want everything and the what do you call it?
And the chips.
And the chips, yeah.
They try to relate to me.
But no. Imagine being mediocre at comedy, then blaming the audience. Forcing others to relate to your material is pretty much the same as forcing people to use your preferred pronouns or language. It might work on some, but it's not going to work on all. And on that note, our final clip of the day is brought to you by a particularly passionate trans rights activist who decides that screaming is a far better method of communication altogether than using her
Ladies
words.
and gentlemen.
So,
I am going to spend the next
In case you didn't hear me, warning, it's going to get loud here in a second. So you need to turn it down. You've been warned.
Screaming, because that is what is going on in here. That is what the trans genocide in this country, in this city, has brought me to. Imagine that!
Is she trying to eat the microphone?
Now, firstly, I'd like to apologise to everyone wearing earphones. And when did people start using the word genocide so loosely? There's nothing close to that going on for trans people in her country. So even without the screaming, I don't think this is a person capable of speaking any sense.
No.
And before I summarise my takeaways from all the clips we saw today, let me give you one more example of the woke mob policing our language. So Scotland's International Development Alliance, or CIDA, is a taxpayer-funded government aid group, and they generated a lot of chatter on the internet last week when they released a guide on anti-oppressive language. And you can probably guess what comes next. The guide tells its readers to ditch any words that might be gendered or oppressive. So for some examples, saying things like the developing world.
Even in like different languages, like French, for example, you have masculine and feminine words.
Yeah.
Like the word voiture, I think, is truck, and that is what they consider. They put a little thing next to it, so it's a masculine word. And then there's the word for car, which is oh god, I forgot it. You know, I think camion is truck, and then the other one, voiture, is car.
Okay.
But the car one is feminine, and the truck is masculine, and it's like there's no really reason for that. It's not like because the cars are like more inherently girly and the trucks are more manly. It's just words. For some reason, words do have like a gender thing associated with
Interesting.
it. It would never freaking work there.
No.
You know, because it's like that shit's been going on forever.
Yeah.
But it's like, God, I just watched this.
Or first or third world country is considered hierarchical and exploitative, and we should be saying things like majority world or minority country instead. Meanwhile, words like aid or foreign aid are problematic because, to quote CEDA, they deny the unjust distribution of resources, which makes aid necessary, and so they prefer the term global redistribution instead.
Oh, I bet they
There's
do.
a lot more I haven't covered, like saying climate crisis instead of climate change, but you get the gist of it. It goes back to my original point earlier about our language changing. It's not so much that the language itself is changing, but how people are enforcing its usage as a political weapon. Think back to college students who were scared to define what a woman is, or insistent on using the term pregnant people instead of mothers. That's either because they've had the threat of being cancelled ingrained in their head, or they've been indoctrinated to the point where everything is fluid and words don't have any meaning anymore. And that's also why you get nonsensical pronouns popping up every day, and much more alarmingly, people masking words like pedophile under euphemisms like minor attracted persons. There are countless ways in which language shapes our culture and everyday life, and it increasingly looks like the progressives are driving the change. But as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next week.
Those are the three that I had set up for this week. You still had some from last week, I think, on there, so you can probably do it now.
Okay. Let's see what else we got, ladies and gentlemen. Did we do this one right here?
That was the top three you should have done. And then you got Isaac's.
Okay. I know I wanted to do Isaac, so that's what we'll do.
Okay.
We'll end it with Isaac.
He's brash, but it's
Yeah, he's...
Where we sit down and look at some of the most insane human beings that have ever lived in this week's installment of Insane TikToks. Well, insane people on TikTok. Because it never ceases to amaze me. The type of absolutely interesting human beings that put their own lives on the internet for all of us to look at and go, well, thank the F word my life isn't that bad. Ladies and gentlemen, I think this is episode like 403 of Woke TikToks. Let's take a look.
Today I'm going to show you how to use candles pronouns in sentences. Candles pronouns are a form of neo-pronouns, and oh my goodness.
Candle. Okay, so there's pronouns, right? We all know what pronouns are. He, him, she, hers, they, them, theirs, these, hers, theirs, and then there's neo-pronouns, which I'll have to Google it. I've forgotten what it means. Neo-pronouns are a category of neologistic English third-person personal pronouns beyond he, she, they, one, and it. If you are considering that your life will be better with neo-pronouns, you need medication, mate. Oh, look at this. There's a New York Times article, A Guide to Neo-Pronouns, and it's got the example of pre, prin, prims, and prim self. I don't even know what that means, but none of them are as insane as this.
Goodness, isn't that just so lovely? And please remember that these pronouns are very important to the people that want to hear and want to listen to how to use these in sentences. So please just scroll if you cannot handle this video, if you cannot handle watching it without sending some hate.
I'm not sending hate. You're calling yourself a candle. What does that even mean?
That would be lovely because it's just all about respect.
I will not respect you if you want to be called a candle. I just won't. I'm sorry.
It's not about understanding. It's not anything that's harmful. What's harmful is the bullying. And
Sure, it's not harmful. But don't you think, honestly, as far as bullying is concerned, that maybe you deserve a little bit if you refer to yourself as a candle?
I always say that. But yeah, I hope you understand. And here's how to use candles pronouns.
Fucking blow yourself out, you stupid fucking candle.
I think Candle should be very proud of Candle self.
What is this? Lesbians now white. Oh, Snow White. Lesbians are now white. Lesbian Snow White. Cool, babe. This is Libs of TikTok coming through with the goods again. Oh, so she was bunging that on. So let's have a look at the signs in the background. Jesus was trans. Okay. I guess I'll Google that. Was Jesus trans? This will be interesting. This is from the National Review. It says Jesus was transgender. Oh, a Cambridge dean has claimed that... Let's go to this. This is from the Telegraph in the UK. Jesus could have been transgender, claims Cambridge dean. The dean of Trinity College said such a view was legitimate after a row over a sermon by a student that claimed Christ had a trans body. Fuck me. Okay, so what we've got going on here is a transgender rally, and everyone's just saying that Jesus was trans, and the reaction to Jesus being trans from this lady is this. I don't understand what happens. And this is from Libs of TikTok, as I said, a great Twitter page to follow. It says liberalism is a mental disorder. Hey, not all of them, but these ones in this video, sure, fair enough. I've seen this podcast everywhere. These dudes sit down across for some ladies and they argue points. They have debates, they disagree, they agree. Some people have stormed out. Let's see where this one's going.
Said, Chase, would you rather smash the hottest trans woman in the world or the oldest woman in the world? Honestly, bro, the oldest woman in the world, because then I wouldn't be gay. Are you like, Chase, how dare you be transphobic?
Okay, so the question was, would you rather have sex with the oldest woman in the world or a transgender woman?
That's pretty bad.
I'm imagining that it depends who you ask this question to. If you ask this question to someone who is bi or has sex with transgender women, then they'd be sweet, right? Easy question. Or maybe they don't mind older ladies either. But anyway, the point is, the question depends on who you're asking. If you're asking a straight person, then they're probably going to say the old lady because they're not that interested in dicks. Now, I call trans women women. All right, I just think it's the polite thing to do. But if they have a dick, then I'm sorry, if you suck on that dick, then you are at least not super straight. All right, you're not really straight. Now, if your transgender female partner jerks off onto your face with their female penis, is that the straightest thing of all time? Probably not. So I understand where this dude's coming from. And he said it in a very, aggressive ways, like, no, because then I'd be gay. And I think that's why people had a problem with this guy, because he said it like being gay is a bad thing. Being gay is not a bad thing.
Yes, actually, what the fuck do you mean?
Because if I had sex with a trans woman, I'd be having sex with a biological man. And I don't want to do that. Because I'd be gay if I had sex with a biological man.
That's not gay.
It's not gay. It's not gay, though.
Shut the fuck.
But you're not gay.
What about the ones that had the bottom surgery and stuff? Does that still equate?
I don't know.
I mean, because like I said, I think in certain rare circumstances, somebody really could be put in the wrong body, so they might give off serious feminine energy.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, like, if they've had the bottom surgery, maybe you can get your head around it. But like, otherwise, if they're still presenting like masculine energy, even with the bottom surgery, I don't know.
Well, then they just be like a tomboy. You know, they
yeah. Well, okay.
girl
Okay.
body.
Yeah. Right. That's true. But I don't know. And then there's just the whole thing about the designer coochie, as they call it. It's like, from what I've understood, it's like a permanently open wound, like it never heals. So why would you want to, like, you know, do that?
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like I'm hearing a lot, and see, they used to like peddle this shit to us when we were in high school. It's like, well, everybody's bi. Well, it's proving it that they're not now. Because even when something presents as a female, there's dudes that are like, no, I'm not doing that. And then they're all like, oh, but I am a woman. And it's like, they're like, no. You know? And so it's like they're proving that was wrong. That not everybody is bi. I think Greg used to say, it's like, well, everybody's gay if you get them drunk enough.
No.
I've been pretty drunk. I've never felt the need to, like, make out with another chick, you know? So, I don't know. Continue.
Actually.
Well, that is strange that you walked out on that. I mean, he is right. Can you explain how you came to moon self? These are more neo-pronouns.
One of my exes, we don't talk about them. Anyway, no, but they use, like, cat neo-pronouns, and I was like, oh, those are so cute. Like, I kind of want, like, cool pronouns, like, something that fits me, because...
Like, get a fucking job, mate. Get a fucking job. Go and get a fucking hobby. Do anything else that's not creating words for people to call you. Mate, how long have people been making fun of people who come up with their own nicknames? This is the same thing, just fucking insane. You are not a moon. You are not a cat. You are not a fucking, what was the other one? A candle. You're definitely not a candle, all right?
I'm autistic, and one of my biggest special interests is...
Is it just me, or is everybody autistic now? That's weird, because I don't think everyone is. I think everyone's just chasing a diagnosis. Maybe you're just a little weird, and that's fine. You're allowed to be a little weird. Why do you need a diagnosis? Why do you need to call yourself a fucking moon? Okay, for the rest of that video, she's just fucking waffling on. Let's move on to the next one. That is ridiculous.
But I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I am fucking tired of TERFs making a mockery of real women.
Okay, TERF, that's an interesting one. Trans exclusionary radical feminist means that women are feminists, but they don't include biological men who are now women in that group. That's what a TERF is.
Oh, what? You were born with ovaries? You bleed every month? You have XX chromosomes? Yeah, that's cute. Tell me what other external factor that doesn't apply to all of you defines you. At the end of the day, you're out here thinking that trans women are making a mockery of you when it's the exact opposite. You are pretending that you know that you're a woman when the only people...
The whole TERF and trans debate is weird, and like we've seen this recently in Australia where that Posey Parker came out, and I find it strange that people really hate her. I mean, I don't know everything she's ever said, but as far as the things she said about trans athletes competing in sports, I completely agree with that. I don't think they should, and I think just recently I don't know if it was the athletics governing board across the world came out and said basically there'll be no trans athletes competing against the biological athletes in their divisions. Now, and I think that's a great idea because it's just not fair. Simple as that. But isn't it strange that there just cannot be a debate? You have to either believe one side or the other. There's no in between. And I think this lady probably raises some very good points. Maybe the Posey Parker lady, she raises some very good points. The thing is, like, if we could just sit down and actually have conversations about this shit and not freak out and not have these big rallies turn out and everyone getting violent and angry like we saw in Australia and in New Zealand, we could probably get to the bottom of a lot of these conversations.
Here who know that for sure are the ones who have put in the work to understand themselves. The trans women. You have put zero work in actually understand.
So biological women don't understand themselves.
You're only a woman because everybody else around you look at the same external factors that you look at.
Because you are a woman. Fucking.
It's like, seems like woman behavior to me. And
Or because you have tits, a vag, can have children, you have a period, you have the ability to have a period. Maybe you don't have a period, but you have the ability, you have all the things in place. You have XX chromosomes, you have this, that, the other, you got a uterus, you got a cervix, you got a... That's a woman. I'm sorry to break your heart, love. That's a woman.
You went, all right, the only person making a mockery of womanhood is you because you do not fully understand what makes you a woman.
The people who understand what a woman really is are people who used to be men. Write that down.
Like, how you express yourself and the things that you do, and it's like, okay, so are you going to now do all the things that women do? Are you going to hold down a household? Are you going to cook? Are you going to sew? Are you going to fucking clean? Are you going to go and work with kids and drag them all over the freaking place? Are you going to do all those things that typically, traditional women do?
Yes.
I mean, to me, that would be another marker of what a woman is, being able to stand resiliently by and let things happen to you and just...
Take more pain.
Yeah, and just keep taking it, and it's like without... saying something, I mean, that would be a marker of what a woman is, but no, it's just like, I just feel like a woman, and that's good enough. It's like there's a song for
Ryan Reynolds.
So, man, I feel like a woman. Remember there's a song?
But yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Because like I said, women can take more pain, death and
right, exactly. And that's scientifically proven.
Yes.
It's like they say that like the pain of childbirth is the equivalent pain of like breaking 5 bones at the same time.
I couldn't
or like
imagine.
20 bones at the same time.
I couldn't imagine.
And it's like, so there's just certain things that are attributed to women that are not attributed to men. So it's like, are they going to check all of those boxes?
Yes, exactly.
If they don't, then they're not a woman.
Then they have no argument here.
And if a guy comes and transitions and does all those things, then it's like, yeah, I can see you're a woman,
Yep.
I will acknowledge you as an honorary woman, but it's kind of like how Stevie was an honorary heartbreaker. She'd never really be a heartbreaker, but,
She got that title still.
Yeah.
Stop harassing trans women.
Is questioning trans women harassing them? Can't we question things?
I don't even identify as a woman, and I'm more of a woman than you. It's okay to be scared of, but don't take it out on people who aren't even a fucking threat.
Well, that was confusing. Oh, this would be good. This is from the Instagram Dangerous Female. Listen, lady who is a comedian. Fuck off, for starters. And if anyone should be avoiding microphones, it's females who claim to be comedians.
Wow.
Imagine going to a university or a college now. That would be fucking horrifying. I assume that was all over someone using the wrong pronouns. I mean, fuck, dude. I think you should use people's pronouns that they want, just to be nice. But don't carry on like that if someone uses the wrong one, particularly if they really look like a dude and you say he, or they really look like a girl and you say she. I mean, I misgendered a baby recently and I felt bad. I said, isn't he cute? And it was a girl. But she was wearing gender-neutral clothing. So that's the mother's fault. Fucking throw a fucking tutu on that baby or slap a fucking name tag on the bitch, all right? Otherwise, I got no idea.
It's always going to affect my life. I can't take off my skin color. As
She's right, you can't.
prejudices that exist against me,
It's this podcast again, whatever.
and that's why you can't be racist against a white person.
Pretty sure you can. Pretty sure you can be racist against any colour. Can you be racist against Asian people? Then you can be racist against anyone.
But you are white, and me calling you white boy isn't exactly racist.
I mean, if you call someone white boy, it's a bit rude. I don't think it's racist.
Your skin color will never lead to the, premature murder of yourself.
Sure. But does yours? Is that the defining factor in whether or not you were prematurely murdered? No. I mean, sometimes in certain neighbourhoods, maybe. It depends where you live, who you hang around. There's a lot of factors, not just your skin colour.
There are more white men killed by police officers than women of any race combined.
I mean, then why aren't you mad? Why don't you hate police too?
Okay, so I guess this is a conversation about police, and they have impossible jobs. And the thing is, in America, a lot of shit goes wrong. Everyone's got guns. They don't know who has guns. People get shot because they think they have guns. It's a whole fucking shit fight. In Australia, it very, very rarely happens that the police kill someone. Maybe there's only like 10 a year or something like that, which, you know, you may say that that's too many, but it depends what they did, right? I don't know. I don't think many cops are actually looking at people and looking down upon people because of their skin colour. I just don't see it. Maybe some are real assholes, but I don't see it. I don't see it at all. Okay, so this is an actual kids show on Netflix.
That's because I'm non-binary, and Fred is the name that fits me best. And I also use they and them because calling me a she or a he doesn't feel right to me. I'm sorry I used the wrong name and...
Mate, as someone who's about to have a baby, if that comes on the TV, I'm fucking throwing the TV out. That's fucking ridiculous. Right? Some people are trans, yes. Okay, some people feel happier being non-binary.
I won't have it on.
Absolutely. And that's beautiful.
Which show was it in?
But
I don't know. It was on
doesn't
Netflix,
need to be
though.
taught to children. That a very, very, very small percentage.
All right, so it's like I've seen conflicting things. It says it's like the equivalent between 20 and 50 bones being broken at the same time. They said that the human body can bear only up to 45 Dell units of pain. Yet at the time of giving birth, a mother feels up to 57 Dell units of pain.
Wow.
I think like a lot of people were saying, it's not so much that it's like at one given moment that it hurts so bad. It's just like it can last for like days.
Yeah, it
it's
can.
Like unrelenting, and it comes in these like really increasing
Yeah,
waves, you know, and then you get like exhausted and stuff. So I think that's probably more of it. It's more of a stamina endurance issue. Because
And you guys have that.
yeah, and people that like me that had like a really quick like labor, I mean, it wasn't that bad. It's like I have definitely had pain worse than that.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't the worst pain that I've ever had. So it's like it just depends. I think like if they're stressed, how long they've been in labor.
Yeah, I mean that definitely. I can't imagine a couple of days.
You know, and in that weird position they have you in the freaking hospital, you can't get up and walk around. You know, it's like
Exactly.
It's a variable, but yeah. So they're saying between like 20 and 50 bones breaking at the same time.
Wow, I mean that's impressive.
Yeah. So if they can withstand that, then you know.
Yeah. Then they got something.
Of the population feel this way. Children would benefit more from being taught CPR at this age.
Biological men going into female prisons.
But they're no longer biological men.
They're no longer biological men. Okay, fine.
Women.
They're women.
Even if they haven't transitioned, they're still women.
They're still women.
No.
Okay. Well, if you go to jail and some chick walks in with a big fat cock, let's see if you change your opinion.
Like, if they're transgender and they haven't transitioned medically, they're still women.
So would you have said in this instance, feelings trump facts?
Yeah.
Would you have, if someone was to say to you, what about biology, and they play that card, would you have said, no, what matters is what someone's feeling rather than actual fact, like biological science?
Yeah, I think to some degree. Because
We do see, unfortunately, people being sexually assaulted in female prisons by people who are biological men, and that's the end of that conversation. That's just the reality of it. But I understand that it is a complex issue because some trans women who look like women have had surgery, all that type of shit. If they were in a male prison, that would be dangerous to them. I get that. It's a tough discussion, but it's a discussion that must be had. All right, we've got one more. Let's just watch it. Let's see what happens.
What I eat in a day as a fat person who's not interested in weight loss.
I hate these videos because it encourages people not to lose weight and not to be healthier, and I'm just not about it. Sorry. You can have your opinion and you think you're doing a good job. That's mine. I think it's a shit message to push, and you can stick it up your ass if you don't like it. Like, just look at the hashtags. All bodies are good bodies. Body love, body positivity. Fat is beautiful.
It's
fat positive. Fat
he said it's the ones where they're voting being fat.
Oh no, that's
you know, and you know he just said that he's like, I'm sorry. He's like, I won't do it. I can't do it. He was like, that's that's being stupid and
again playing into delusions, thinking that they're healthy, and it's like they can try to spin it any way they want. I was still pretty fit for having extra weight, and I could walk and do all this stuff, right? And I was pretty flexible, but that does not mean that there wasn't a bunch of other stuff going on a cellular level because of it. You know, so all these people who say, well, it's like, yeah, well, I'm overweight, I'm an obese marathon runner or something like that. It's like, that doesn't mean that you're not being literally poisoned by your own
exactly
fats. You
Yeah.
know, like it's not having an effect on your brain. The cortisol gets trapped in the fats, and that affects your brain and stuff too.
It does. Like it really does.
I will never be able to support anybody who promotes some sort of unhealthy lifestyle. Like on
exactly.
Social media. I just can't
balance.
Do that. You know, it's like if they're curvy or have a little bit of extra weight here and there, that's one thing. But like these obese people saying, no, that's not good.
No.
Positivity, intuitive eating, food freedom, anti-diet culture. Shut the fuck up if you think you're not spreading a bad message. She have a piece of toast with some jam and some peanut butter on it. Maybe that's 400 calories plus. What else did she have? She had the French vanilla cold brew. That might have been, it depends on what the cold brew actually is. Might be 200 calories in there. She then had the kiwi. That might be another 125. So she's about at 1,000 at this point. I'd say the smoothie probably puts it at about 1,200 calories or so, thereabouts, right?
Cottage pie.
Cottage pie. So she's probably at like 2,000 calories for the day. That's it. She's probably at 2,000 calories for the day. That's actually not that much. But the problem is, if to maintain her current weight or to maintain her healthy weight, she might only need to eat, to maintain it, 1,800 or 1,900 calories. If she's eating 2,000, she's going to slowly but surely put more weight on. That's why everyone eats in a calorie deficit to lose weight. If you don't know that by now, then too fucking bad. I just don't like the message that they push in those videos. You may disagree with me. That's fine. But this is spread throughout things like TikTok. Like, people are really spreading these messages. Ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you thought of today's video in this beautiful journey into woke TikTok. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you send me...
All right, that's all the time that we have for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. We always dive into the fall of the West and what people are doing with it now, how far we're falling. So hopefully we can save all of this and become better.
Yeah, I think that it's basically going to weed itself out. It's basically just kind of like hold your ground, hold your values, speak the truth.
Exactly.
And just try to write it out. I mean, it's like do not participate in this. It's just like the transport thing. Don't participate.
Yes, that's a whole big subject, but I could not ever support a male going into an all-female sport because it's unfair. There's so many different things.
It's fairly unsafe, And
yes.
Like, look what happened. You showed me that article. I don't know if it was today or yesterday about like these. They look to be only about like 12 years old, and they said that they weren't going to participate in the sport.
Yeah.
They like spoke out against trans athletes in their school, and they're like now banned
for the rest of the time. Like any sports, they cannot play any sports or anything from the schools.
Yeah, that's fine then. It's like then you just have to be okay with that.
Because they spoke out not wanting to play against males.
Yeah. And that's really unfortunate because now they don't get to play their sport, but in the long run, it's going to send a much bigger message.
But the thing is, we need a lot more girls to be doing this.
I just saw in the Olympics thing, it was talking about the team. I forgot. I don't know. I mean, it must be the U.S. team, right? But it said, it said that they have already said publicly that they will all quit if Leah Thomas is allowed to compete with them. So it's like I'm really glad they're starting to finally
step up,
especially on a bigger stage like that.
Yes,
so it's going to inspire people on smaller stages to do the same thing.
Exactly, and that's what needs to happen. We need an uprising to stop this nonsense.
And they're like, well, then we don't get to play, and it's like, it's okay. It's a bigger thing.
No, they can.
Yeah.
They choose not to. They can go play either in their biological side, or they can go play and create a transgender...
Yeah, I was just talking about the girls that are afraid to speak out.
Oh, yes.
And it's like, but then it's for a bigger thing. It's bigger than you, and it will go down more historically if you just...
and it will be made right in time if enough people step up.
Exactly, because there's just, like you said, there's not enough...
There isn't.
We saw what happened when they tried to have their own transgender, division, and nobody showed up. There's not enough of them, and they know it's unfair.
Yeah, they do.
It's like, I really don't know why. Because it's like, they should all kind of be on the level with each other.
Well, yeah, but they're not in it to be fair. They want that squash. They want to be able to say, hey, look how good I am, because they couldn't be good in the male division.
Oh, and then, like I said, that was just like a kick in the teeth that, like, women just didn't need.
It's like
they did not at all.
It was like to be forced to see that, like, you know, very much the weakest of you guys is like stronger than the strongest of us.
Yeah.
It's like that was like really something that they didn't need. I mean, it was like now they're forced to deal with that and have to like say that, you know, somehow this is women's rights. This is empowering women's rights when you let men compete with your sport and everything. And you have Riley Gaines that has to step back, even though she pound for pound went with Leah Thomas. And then let Leah Thomas have all the freaking spotlight?
Yeah, but she got the medals.
Okay.
They finally pulled it from the other one and gave it to her.
She was sharing the medals and stuff. It's just that she didn't get any of the endorsements. She didn't get the pictures.
Well, I mean, I just know that she's got the medals fully now. Like,
that's good.
They took them from the other
that's good. I mean,
competitor.
It's like, I mean, imagine that. It's like, that's like, I mean, like,
yeah.
She did it. You know, I mean, she like beat a dude.
Exactly.
You know, or matched a dude. And
I know, she did really well.
That's something, you know, and then had the balls to stand behind her decision. And and now, like I said, the whole new team is like, no, we're not gonna do this if Leah Thomas is with us.
Good, it's what we need right now.
So there's probably gonna be discrimination lawsuits and all that.
Yep.
Because it's like
let it.
It's like the Planet Fitness thing.
I know. That's a whole another ball game too. That's
exactly. And on Friday, I have some stuff set up here. It's talking about masculinity and what the current like role models are for like the younger generation, who the current influencers are and everything.
Okay.
And what sort of masculinity they're presenting to the world. I mean,
this ought to be fun.
Talking about like the Andrew Tates and the mini Andrew Tates of the world and the people things that they take seriously with that. Yeah, and it kind of like talks a little bit about how that falls in with the religion and what is supposed to be God's plan for men, women, and marriage.
Yes.
And what they've done to it, and like, you know, the result. So that's what I got set up for Friday.
Sounds great. I think we'll get deep into that. So, as always, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any other stuff that you want me to watch, see, post it on here, post it on the page. We'll check it out and see when we can get to it. We appreciate everybody's input. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great night.